Yo, what up guys, Travic here, and today I want to talk about trading in Path of Exile. A very common question that I get a lot lately is, how do you trade? How do you price check things? Where do I go to buy items, in the game world? Is there a currency exchange? And today we're going to try to cover everything in a relatively short amount of time. Let's start with the outright basics. You can indeed trade everything in Path of Exile. If you can loot it, you can trade it, and you should be moving and trading almost everything all of the time. A lot of wealth in Path of Exile is generated from moving the currency that you have and moving the items that you have, and a lot of players really don't know how to do this, so we're going to go over some tips and tricks and the steps that you can take. To begin with, if you're not already familiar with it, Path of Exile 2's website has a trade button. You can come on over here and you can click the trade button, and this will bring you right on over to the trade website. When you come on over to the trade website, there are two sides to the trade site. There's the search for an item side, and there's the bulk item exchange side. The search for an item side will let you filter out and look for anything that you want. For example, if you wanted the Hand of Wisdom in action, you would just search for the item here, scroll on down to search, and hit search. And this will bring you to what you're looking for. And eventually the trade website will load. It's a little slow lately. There's tons of people using it, but you'll be able to see what the item's worth. You'll be able to directly whisper somebody for their item, and you'll be able to make the trade happen in game. You can also search for a variety of different things. You can search for different weapons, different rarities. You could search for the item level, and there's all different stats that you could search for. A really good example would be like, hey, if I want like a life-based ring with, fire resistance, I can do that. And I can search for those. Anything that you can think of, you could search for. This is why selling and trading your gear is very valuable. If you think of it and you need it, there's somebody else playing the game that probably thinks of it and need it. The only big problem is the trade website's a little slow. Now, there are two ways to sell and move your items in game. The first and old school way to do it is to create a forum post. For those of you that are brand new to Path of Exile 2 and don't have access to stash tabs to sell your items in game, the old school way was to sell your items in a trade post, and you would make something, you would go to the trade forum and you would make a post that looks like this, and you would list your item in a fashion. You would essentially just create a new post. If I hit edit on this and the website loads, you would create a new post. Eventually it'll load. Path of Exile's website's very slow these past couple of days. All of you guys playing the game, I hope you're enjoying it. And, forgive Path of Exile's website for being a little bit on the slower side. But I guess you would create a post, you would click on your character's profile page, and inside your character, whenever it loads, it would allow you to list the items that you have in a fashion like you see here, and the items would show up verified. Unfortunately, the trade website currently, while recording, is a little bit on the slower side. Now, if you don't have access to the trade websites being completely slow, you're fed up, you don't want to deal with it, or there's a stash tab sale going on and you want to, support the devs a little bit, you can come in game and buy yourself some of these stash tabs. Now, you see, if you've seen my stream before, you've seen my videos before, I have a bunch of stash tabs, and they're all different prices and they're all different things. Essentially, what you can do is you can buy a premium tab from the store, and you can get these really, really cheap tabs that you can use to just essentially filter your trade. Once again, the shop is running a little slow, so I'll leave it to you to go search for the tabs. But yes, you'll be able to buy stash tabs inside the store, and you can use them to filter what you want. I personally recommend, for selling things, a quad tab. These get a little pricey. I would wait for them to be on sale, but you can see I can throw an absolute metric ton of stuff in here, and this is all stuff that I need to go through, filter, and price. Now, what you would do is you just right click the top of the tab over here, you set your tab to public so people can see it, and then you can pick how you want to individually price, negotiate the price, exact price on all the items, and you can set up however you want to do. Now, you see I have some tabs where everything in this tab, one divine orb. That's it, one divine orb. These are called your dump tabs, or your one div tabs, or your one exalt tabs, or your two exalt tabs. If you think an item is worthless and you don't know how to price it, you throw it in a tab, deal with it later. If you get a million pings for something, it's probably worth a little bit more than what you listed it for. So you should probably go reevaluate the price. I throw things in a 1x dump tab and a 1 div dump tab all the time. If I get 2, 3, 4, 5 pings right away, I go and double check and triple check the price. You can go and double check and triple check all of your items on the website, and it'll allow you to pretty much just look up what everything's worth. Very similar to how we were looking up that ring. You find an item on the ground, you search the individual stats of the item, and then you hit the search button, and assuming that trade's working in the current sense of time, you'll be able to look up what you have, what it's worth, and be able to price out your items accordingly. Now, another really cool tip is if you don't have access or you don't want to do that, because I know it's extremely time consuming, it's a huge pain to have a tab full of items like this and go, you know what, I'm just not going to list anything. It's going to sit inside here. I'm not going to bother with anything. I'm just going to leave it all. Well, there are tools. Path of Exile is known to having some of the best tools in the business, and there's a way in game, well, technically you use a third-party tool. There is a way to just look up an item really quick and bring up all of the stats of the item and filter by the stats to see what it's worth. Now, this is a tool called Awaken PoE Trade. I'll give you a link to it down in the description, and we use this in Path of Exile 1 all the time. It was an insanely powerful tool, and it allowed us on the fly to be able to price check things. Now, note, this is beta for Path of Exile 2. There are a lot of working issues, but what it will do is it allow me to look up a staff. I could see my DPS on my staff, and I can click on modifiers on the staff that I think might be valuable, and if trade was working, it would spit out a price here for me. Same thing with my unique items. If I were to do my gloves and trade was working, I would be able to literally just search the item itself and see what it was worth. Same thing goes for this. I would search the physical DPS, the attack speed, the bonus filter, crit, and all the mods here, and I would hit search and it would spit out a price. When you spit out that price, you have the option to open up the trade website with those specific modifiers and compare your item to what's on trade and get a really solid sense of why that guy has his item listed for like 30 divs. It's really powerful, and you can make an absolute ton of currency doing it. Same thing with this. I could just search my total resistances. I would hit search. It would spit back up a value if trade was working, and I'd be able to look at all the different values. The upside is having tools and knowledge like this really makes your experience really strong. The downside is there's like a million of you guys who are playing this game right now, and you guys are all bombing the trade site at the speed of God, and everything's breaking. Now, if you're also playing the game and you're like me and you're picking up a ton of small currencies and a ton of really weird fragments like this because you're in maps and you don't know what to do with them, you can indeed sell everything. All of these small currencies and all of these splinters and all of these chalices and orders and all of this stuff all of it will sell. All of it will sell. Now, what you'll do is you'll come on over here to Alva. Alva has a currency exchange, and when that currency exchange, you can filter through everything that you need to do. So we start with here. If you're like me in the current situation, you're looking for divines. You're saying, I want divines, and you want to check the rate of divines. You could search divines to exalt, and you could see that last night they were 30. They are now 50. There is some shenanigans going on right now. These things are spiking out. These are going to hit 200. Mark my words, these are going to hit 200. Or if you have a divine, you can control click and switch them around and sell your item. This is an absolutely fantastic way to move your items that you're sitting on that you don't know what you want to do with. Now, really quick, I could show you if I had 51 exalted orbs, I could put in a buy order. I currently only have 46, so I can't really put in a buy order. But say I wanted to buy exalted orbs. Say I was really short. I needed a divine for my gear. I needed one more divine to go buy the hand of action and wisdom. I don't want to do. I'm short exalted orbs. I don't have the 50 to buy the thing to get the orb to go to trade to buy the gloves. What do I do? Well, since everything can move and everything will sell, what we need to do is we have to figure out what extra stuff that we're sitting on that we're not using, like 51 lesser jeweler's orbs, and just start selling them. We see right away, there's trades up right now for 8 to an exalt. I list my 8. Oh, excuse me. I list my 8. I list my 1. I hit trade. And then I just have it for sale right now. Right here, you see there's 1 to 8, 1 to 8. That's the current rate. As soon as somebody buys one, I'll get my 1 to 8. There you go. I have my 1, and everything will move. Every item that you have will move. Every single thing you should be absolutely positively selling everything. Orb of augmentations, 500 to 1. No, Nope. Available trades 501, competing trades 241. I could sell my orbs at a competing trade of 241 to an exalted orb. So you just sell everything. The available trades are people trying to make the most of their money, and the competing trades are the people trying to sell for the most of their money. So I would always look at competing trades here, see it's 241, 240 to 1. I would list at 241, 242, and I would sell my items. Everything will sell, everything will eventually move. And if you have things in a tab like this for 2x that just doesn't move, rename the tab to 1. Now, other things that you could sell too, you could sell all of these catalysts, you could sell all of these splinters, you could sell all of these artifacts, and Alva will do an absolutely fantastic job of allowing me to price check my items at different variables. So like I can see right now 15 of these gets me an exalted orb, but if I wanted a divine orb, I can see there's no stock. People are trading at 450, 375 to a div. So I can, start to figure out where I can move little things. The big reason why this is important is a lot of these small little tiny items will move very, very, very fast for currency that you didn't realize that you had. I know right now, me personally, I'm probably sitting on a divine or two and just random stuff sitting in my bags. We see right now, these are 77 to a div. If I go look up exalted prices, these are 7 to an X. I can literally sell 7 of these right now and go buy an exalted orb. No problem. Sell 8 of them right now, go buy an exalted orb, no problem. And I could start to trade up all of my smaller currencies. The benefit of Alva is I can set up a large number of trades and just go walk away. So what I mean by that is, and we're just going to use a quick example. If I wanted to buy a divine orb and I wanted exalts, and I know they're 50, 51, 52, but say I wanted to feel lucky and get 30, maybe I get lucky, maybe somebody sells. I can sit here, I can list this, and I can go walk away and do what I'm doing. Hopefully this fills while I sleep, or hopefully this fills while I'm mapping. So if you're like me, a parent, or you're working, or you just have real life responsibilities before you log off, you should list all of your stuff. And when I mean all of your stuff, all of this, list it, get rid of it, sell it all. Especially like if none of this stuff is moving, sell everything you can in the currency exchange, lower the price of all of this stuff, put everything on the trade, and get rid of all of it. Before you know it, you will be absolutely profiting out of your mind, and you'll be able to say, wow, 7 div gloves, that's not that bad. I can move a couple of things, 2-3 hours, not a problem. I bought the gloves, easy peasy. But that's really it. The really hard part about dealing with the trade economy is just taking the time to do it. And one of the things about Path of Exile is if you're like me, all you want to do is kill mobs and not think about it. I just let me loot the divine, skip the trading, let me loot the divine, and let me go. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. And you do have to sit there and you do have to trade things. Even things like these uncut skill gems, assuming trade would work, these uncut skill gems have a value. You can indeed sell these. People will buy them. I know right now, I was talking to a couple of people, uncut skill gems or uncut spirit skill gems at very low levels, like level 5, 6, they're worth a couple X a piece because they're so hard to come by and people will pay for them. These deli fragments like this, if I go look this up, I know this is actually worth a ton. If I search up this sphere one, 35x to 1, and if I look up the divine rate, they're 1 to 1. I could literally list it 1 to 1. I'm listing it. I'm 1 to 1. I'm letting it sell. It's selling, baby. You're selling. It's going, bro. 36 in stock. Somebody will buy it. I know somebody will buy it. I ain't gotta worry. Somebody go buy it. But that's it. That's the key to trade. Now, if you want and you're looking for that program I was using earlier, that Awaken PoE trade, I have the link for you down in the description below. You go to the release page, you scroll on down to the EXE, you run the EXE, it'll install, you shift spacebar in game, it brings up this little fancy window. You can go to the settings tab, you can check all of the settings, and down here in the about section, it'll tell you when there's a new update and how to get the update. An absolutely fantastic tool. I use it all the time. You can set the league that you're on. You can set all kinds of files. You can set hotkeys so that you can go back to your hideout to log out of the game and just do all kinds of really, really cool, fancy things with it. I like it a lot, and I'm very grateful that a dev picked up updating it for PoE 2. and it is a tool I use a lot. I know a lot of you guys have been using Overwolf. Some of you guys have been using Sidekick. They're all really good tools. I don't really like the Overwolf one, but I'm sure it's actually fine. I personally just don't use it. But I'm sure they're all really good tools, and as long as you're using something and making the most of your time and pricing your items and selling your items, you will indeed make divines. Now, if you have any questions about trade, or you don't know what to do, or something's a little confusing, or you're struggling, feel free to leave a comment down below, ask a bunch of questions, come on over to the Discord. You could talk to us in the Discord. We'll answer your questions in the general chats in Discord, or the PoE chats in Discord, or come stop by the live stream. I'm live all the time, and I'll be more than happy to answer questions while I'm live. But for now, friends, I hope this video helps you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.